Hello, my name is Enzo,
Hey everyone, I'm Jessica.
and we're outside the big yellow house again. This time we're going inside to interview Sherry Nash. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about our own projects. So Jessica, you have a Facebook group called Jessica Inspires.
It's Jessica Brown Inspires.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You just go on there. There's lots of interesting posts, almost daily, inspirational things that help you move forward for people looking for transformation and inspiration and motivation.
Thank you, Jessica. And myself, I also have a Facebook group called Holistic Life Network, and it's mostly for showcasing practitioners all around the greater Montreal area. So we're really excited to go inside and start this interview. So we'll see you in a bit. Hello, my name is Enzo.
And I'm Jessica, today's co-host.
We're back at the Big Yellow House on Beaconsfield Boulevard in Beaconsfield. And today we're interviewing Sherry Nash in her own office.
Hi.
Tell us about the many different talents that you offer your clients.
Well, what I do is I do bring a bunch of different modalities together to ultimately help the person get to a place of joy. So depending on what's holding them back, it could be maybe it's physical. So with naturopathy, because I'm a certified naturopath, we'll explore some of the physiological pieces that might be holding them back. They just don't feel well. So maybe we'll look at supplements that they need. Sometimes I'm also a Reiki Master, so maybe it's energy that they need, or maybe they have pain. So with the energy work that I do, I have a table here, I could put them on the table and I can help energize them. Sometimes it is a limiting belief that'll hold them back. So I'm a certified coach, and I'm a certified Theta Practitioner. And Theta Practitioning, it's a big part of it is coaching. So having the certified coach piece really works well with the Theta. And then it's a lot about digging to figure out what is holding the person back. And often it's not from a place of consciousness. A lot of the stuff is subconscious.
Yes.
So it's digging it out and trying to get to the root cause. So it all comes into play. And it may take a few sessions to really work through.
And do you use these modalities separately, or do you combine them sometimes?
It's often combined. Coaching is always there, of course. That's the big one. Sometimes Reiki's not required at all. Sometimes it's just more the naturopathy. Depending on what the client comes for. Sometimes it's just physical and they just want the naturopath. Some clients are not that open to, say, the Theta, because that could be perceived as a little more woo-woo, a little more out there. So I would kind of keep that one off and just go more with the naturopathy, and it's a little more prescribed.
So you have to read your client.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, definitely.
What I love though is it really embodies the term holistic, because you've got the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and even the mental and psychological. And you have tools to deal with the whole. And basically that's what holistic really is, right? So I love that. In this field, I've seen some extraordinary stories of transformation and success stories, and I'm sure you've witnessed just as many as I have, and I'm sure you've been a part of it and been the one guiding them and helping them through that. So can you share one of those transformational stories of one of your clients?
I'd love to. The one that comes to mind is a client. She's a single mom, and she had moved here from another country, so English was not even her first language, and she'd only lived here a couple of years and found herself then in a divorce situation, becoming a single mom. So new country, marriage is breaking apart. She took part of my course that I was giving at the time that I called Joy. And it's an acronym for Just Open Yourself to your possibilities and your potential. So it was her first introduction to spiritual concepts. And I don't advertise it as spiritual, but it comes in, we explore values, we explore, your connection with angels or the other realms. And so it was the first time that she really saw the world from that spiritual place. And it just was amazing to watch her transformation. And so much so within under 2 years, she became a spiritual coach.
Wow.
And she's
No
created,
way.
yeah, she's an entrepreneur, she's created her own business.
Ah.
So that to me, it's phenomenal that you
Wow.
can have that kind of an impact of just
Yes.
introducing people to other ideas.
Yes.
So that's really exciting.
That is fantastic. I mean, I get shivers about that when we hear that we've been able to help someone and transform their lives, and they
Yeah.
can just move on and find their own right path.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
I love that.
That's the goal.
Yes.
Right? That's the payment right
Yes.
there.
So Sherry, how did you get to where you are now? Was there a journey? Were you always in the holistic field? Or did you have a regular job before that?
I sure did, yes. I have quite a story. I'll keep it short. But I started in the corporate world way back when I was just a teenager because of certain life
Yeah.
events, and my mom basically said, get a job, and the place that hired me was corporate. And I ended up staying with them for 39 years. Long time. And yeah, and I moved around a lot with the job. I was able to see across Canada with the job, so it had a lot of nice perks to it. And it introduced me to a lot of new concepts and structure and processes and all that business stuff,
Yeah.
which my brain really enjoys too. I really love the logical part and playing with numbers. So I played with that a lot, but it always sort of had a little bit of the creative side to it. But I was always very interested in the spiritual pieces. So I started a journey slowly with taking some Reiki classes. But I was always a reader of yogis, even back when I was a teenager. I'd always try and levitate off my bed, and I was always like,
Did it work?
no, it never worked. I'm so upset. I'm still trying. Levitate. And I would study, crystals and the energies behind them. And so this was always, behind what I did. So it was playing in both. And the more I played, the more I started becoming known a little bit as the odd one at work. It's like, she's like woo-woo. And, I had my crystals at work. And so it was very, and then I was becoming a little more and more, outside of the box. I got rid of the pantyhose and the suit, and I dropped the briefcase. I decided I really didn't want to climb the corporate ladder anymore. I really wanted to continue this field. And I was a smoker, and I was a big drinker, and I knew that as a healer, and I just saw there was this download, I think, from the Creator that this was my path. And I knew I had to clean up my vibration. I had to clean up my own energy. So it was to quit smoking, and then it was to quit the drinking. And then it was like, well, maybe I can help people do this, because I just did it with, the power of the mind. And how do you do that? Well, it's positive thinking, and it's all these steps. And so I started creating a program that I could help, and hence the Be Habit Free was born. That I can help people be bad habit free.
Excellent.
Wow.
And then so the journey just continued as I was continuing with my education of the coaching. That program took 1.5 years. The naturopathy, of course, took more than 3 years. The Reiki took a few years to achieve the 4th level, the master and the mastery level. And then the Theta, and so it just all started coming in, and then I just enjoyed playing with them all. And then the last piece was, well, what do you do with it all?
Right.
And then I realized, well, these are really, I don't have to advertise myself as a this or a that. I just like to call myself a joy guru, because I help just people get to that place.
A joy guru.
And how I
that.
get them there, it doesn't matter to them how I get there.
Yeah.
As long as they achieve their joy.
Right.
So that's where I'm at now.
That is fantastic.
Can we back up in case viewers don't know what Theta is? Could you explain to us what Theta healing is?
Definitely. So Theta is the part of the brain where you're going into that absolute state where you're joining with consciousness, you're joining with the Creator.
Okay.
You're in the higher realms. So you start out with the person, you start it with a coaching session. And generally people will have come to me because they have maybe a limiting belief issue. And sometimes they're not even aware it is a limiting belief. I'm still pulling some out of me. Like you continuously pull out when you do personal growth, right?
Yeah.
Because these are programs that have been downloaded into you from prior lives, or big time from when you're little. Like up until the age 6, you have no conscious state. It's all these downloads that are playing from parents and teachers. And so these are all stuffed in you, and you're going about your normal day. But when you start paying attention to, well, what's not working? This is where with the coaching, I can help get to a root cause. And then with the Theta, I work with the creator to help remove, to actually take that limiting belief out of you. And I'll do body testing with you, like muscle testing, which comes from the subconscious. So your body will answer yes or no. And so we do first a test to see, yes, that's the belief. Okay, so we know we're working with the right one. I work with the creator, help pull it out. Then we retest, and then the answer will be no. And it always blows the client's mind because it's totally from the subconscious.
Yeah.
So it's like eureka. And then I've had them report back. One client in particular, she had this great anxiety when she would drive, and she drove home from here, and she phoned me, and she said, "Oh my God, it's the first time in 35 years that I could drive without anxiety."
Wow.
So that fast, yes, it's
Yeah.
that powerful. It really is incredible.
That is amazing.
The person who created it, Van is her name, she self-cured cancer from her leg, and that's kind of how it all started.
Wow.
So she's got quite a story that you
Okay.
can find on her site.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Very cool. Yeah. What would be, there's so many, but what would be your number one tip to people in general for just a generally happier and healthier life?
Great question. And my answer is always change your story. It's people.
Yeah.
We all love to tell ourselves stories, and we can work ourselves into Great Depression over a story. We can work ourselves into tears over a story. We can work ourselves into anger over a
Yes,
story.
we're good at that, aren't we?
We are. So I really try and teach people: be the thinker, not the thought.
Yeah.
Be the thinker, not the thought.
Be
Very
in
nice.
control. Don't
Yeah.
let your monkey mind get away with you. It's
Yeah.
only you letting it have the power over
Right.
you. So rein it in, be the thinker, and it's like turn that frown upside down. It all sounds very Pollyanna, but it works.
Yeah.
It works. So
absolutely
just
does.
tell yourself a different story.
Yeah.
I just went through losing my brother and losing a really good friend, and I spoke at his funeral, and that was basically the message. I said to everybody, you could either spend your time focusing on what you lost, or you can focus on the gratitude of having had what you had. So enjoy the memories. We
Yes.
are all going to die. No one gets out alive. So let's embrace life
Yes.
and not get so sad about when we depart.
Right. That's great advice. Yeah, thank you.
Is there anyone or something or someone that inspires you?
Another great question. Probably not one person. It's a multitude. Again, because I love playing with both sides of my brain, the creative and the logic. I love bringing science into my work, especially when there is more and more proof now of taking all these woo-woo concepts, like
Yes.
the law of attraction. What is that? It's like, okay, it's going out into the ether and you're attracting in. Well, how does that work?
Yeah.
Well, Greg Braden, he does beautiful work on that. His book, The Matrix, love it, hands down. Bruce Lipton, Biology of Belief.
Yes.
He's really pushed the ceiling on just because genetically, predisposed to cancers or heart disease.
Yeah.
He says, no. Push the envelope on that. It's all from the mind
Yes.
controlling your emotions, which controls the heart, which goes out into the matrix, right? Works by the Dalai Lama is by far one of my favorites. I saw him when he came here to Montreal, and he's just, I just get goosebumps with him. He's the most loving man. So there's a whole, Oprah has a lot of great things to help with people, inspire, Wayne Dyer, the list goes on. So I don't have one. It would be people who are visionaries, people who challenge concepts. Those are people that really inspire
Great
me.
visionaries.
Yeah.
One of the most rewarding and fulfilling things in life is to really find what you're passionate about and do that as your work. But even more beyond that is that when your work actually contributes to society, to community, to people, it actually helps people, makes a difference in their lives, helps them transform. So, I think that, obviously you found your calling.
Yeah.
Right, but a lot of people have not found their calling yet. So I think your combination of your skills and your services and your compassion, it really helps people find balance and transformation. So it's really, I find you an inspiration. You just named a bunch of people that you find inspiring, but I find you as an inspiration.
Thank you.
And I think it's great that the work that you do. So what would be your advice? Let's say that, there's a whole bunch of practitioners out there who are just starting out or want to start out, and what would be your advice for those who are just starting out?
I would have to say, just keep going. Like, go out and get the clients. And that's, the reasons are twofold. Usually, there's a lot of limiting beliefs with healers that we should not charge money. We should be running around barefoot and do it for free. Right? Yeah, very bad. And I used to be in that pool. I really was. Because what's behind that too is, well, I don't have enough experience. I'm not good enough. There's all these other limiting beliefs that go with that. But the more you do it and the more you start seeing the transformations of people, even if in the beginning you're doing it at a reduced cost, you're doing it maybe at a barter system, but you have to exchange it for something. There has to be an energetic exchange. That is how the universe works. Because if you don't, then you've not completed the loop and there's something out of balance.
Exactly.
So you've got to complete it. And the more you do it, the more you're actually working that muscle of feeling more confident. Because now you've got more experience, so you're seeing the transformation in the other person, and you're seeing the work that you're doing. And then you have to, at some point, then step into it and say, okay, I've got to charge for this because I am worth it. Even, all the churches in the world, there is a money. Everybody gets paid. Priests get paid. I think Jesus got paid with maybe fish and wine. I'm not sure. Not bad payment. But there has to be, right? And at the end of the day, you might want to be paying off a mortgage or feeding your kids. So So experience, then add in the money, and then step into it and own it.
Right. Because you still have to make, a life for yourself, and there's value in what you're offering.
Exactly.
There really is value.
There is a lot of value, and especially when you start seeing it, and then you get those testimonials. And then, you have to say to yourself, I helped make that contribution.
Yeah. Do you have, apart from these consultations that you do you do workshops and things like that? How can people get to your workshops?
I do, and I love playing with groups. I love that, the dynamics and the energy.
Yeah, it's different than one.
Yeah, I really do. I love playing in that kind of energy. So I do give courses, 8-week courses at the West Island Women's Center.
Okay.
I have one coming up next month. And I also have a workshop that I'll be giving at the West Island Cancer Wellness Center on December 7th. It's a 2-hour workshop, and it's going to be, I'm going to be doing it around habits and how to help people be habit-free.
Nice. Just to be clear, it's December 7th, 2017.
That's right.
But I'm sure you can be doing this on a recurring basis.
Yes, absolutely. I plan, actually, the plan is to give more workshops here at the Yellow House here in Beaconsfield. Yes, exactly. I'd like to start putting together a group of maybe no more than about 8 people one night a week.
Oh, it's a good idea.
And maybe even one afternoon a week. I have a couple people already on a waiting list. They're just waiting for me to roll it out.
And Sherry, if people want to get a hold of you, do you want to share a website, an email,
Yeah,
a phone number
definitely.
if you want?
Absolutely. I have a website, sherrynash.com. My email is sherry@sherrynash.com.
Okay.
My cell number is 514-234-2284. So you can text or call at that number. So a couple different ways of getting in touch with me for sure. And all my deets are on the website.
Excellent.
And all your workshops and all that will be posted on there too?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Great.
They will.
Well, thank you so much for having us in your office.
Thank you.
In the
Thank
Big
you.
Yellow House. It's been a treat as usual.
As
Thank you,
always.
Jessica.
You're welcome. Always my pleasure. I love being here.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this opportunity a lot.
We'll wrap it up and maybe we'll come back at a later date.
Okay.
Check and see how everything's going.
That'd be great.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye. Thanks.